Anna is my name. My age is 32. I led a typical existence. I had a husband I adored, a career, and a house. We spent 8 years together. I was mistaken to believe that we were content. I was preparing dinner one evening. I waited for Daniel, my husband, to get home. He arrived late. These days, he was constantly late. I had a gut feeling that something wasn't right, but I didn't want to accept it. His expression was solemn when he eventually returned home. He didn't give me a kiss. He didn't grin. He took a seat at the table and turned to face me. "We must speak," he said. My hands began to tremble. My heart pounded rapidly. I set down the spoon. I had freezing hands. My heart was pounding too quickly. "What is it?" I inquired. Daniel cast his gaze downward. He refused to look me in the eye. "I no longer love you," he said. His words were loud in my mind, but his voice was calm. The floor seemed to vanish beneath me. My chest ached. I had a dry throat. "What?" I muttered. "I apologize, Anna," he said. "I didn't intend to cause you harm." I gazed at him. My spouse, my beloved man, the man I had faith in. He was now shattering my heart. "Why?" I wanted to know. "What was it I did? How can you no longer love me?" However, nothing was said. He went on, "I met someone else." There was no plan. It simply occurred. My eyes welled up with tears. They became fists in my hands. It simply occurred. No. Love is not a random occurrence. Betrayal is not a random occurrence. I got to my feet. I was unable to continue sitting there. "What comes next?" I inquired. I was trembling when I spoke. Daniel let out a sigh. "I'm going." Suddenly, my entire universe collapsed. Daniel gathered his belongings. I watched him from the couch. Tears were streaming down my face, but I chose not to wipe them away. He grabbed his clothes, his books, his timepiece. I felt like screaming. I felt like flinging his belongings out of the window. I wished he would stay. However, I took no action. He was standing close to the door. "I apologize," he repeated. I didn't respond. He let out a sigh. Then he walked out the door. I sat still. I heard him leave in his car. The house was silent, and I could hear it. Then I broke. I sobbed. My entire body ached from crying so much. I rocked back and forth while hugging my knees. My heart was very heavy. My chest was very constricted. My head hurt from crying so much, until my throat ached, until I was crying no longer. After that, I sat by myself in the dark. I woke up the following morning and briefly forgot. Daniel's side of the bed was what I reached for. It was deserted. Then I recalled. My chest ached like a knife once more. I stood up. I took a stroll around the home. His belongings were gone. He had lost his scent. However, his ghost was there everywhere. His seat at the table was vacant, the sink with his coffee mug. Near the door were his slippers. I saw him everywhere I looked. However, he was absent. I walked to the restroom and examined myself in the mirror. I was pallid. I had crimson eyes. My appearance wasn't my usual self. I made contact with my ring. I was unable to remove it. Not quite yet. I was by myself. The next days were the most difficult. I gave up eating. Food didn't taste well. I woke up. I always saw him when I closed my eyes. I acted like I was all right at work. I gave my coworkers a smile. I responded to emails. But I was broken on the inside. "You'll be fine," someone assured me. I didn't believe them, though. The toughest times were at night. The bed was overly large. The quiet was too loud. I sobbed myself to sleep while holding my pillow. I occasionally wanted to text him when I picked up my phone. However, I didn't, since I was aware that he was now with her. I went to the supermarket one day. I passed a coffee shop on my way. Then I caught sight of him, Daniel. He and a woman were seated at a table. She was a young woman, lovely. He said something that made her laugh. He appeared content. I felt sick to my stomach. My hands were chilly. I was itching to run. I felt like screaming. However, I merely observed from distance. Then he raised his head. We looked at each other. I briefly noticed something in his face. Startled? Feeling guilty? Pity? I found out right away. I went away after turning around. My eyes were burning with tears. I didn't cry, though. Not now. I moved quickly. I fled after that. I ran till I was exhausted, until I thought my heart would burst. I locked the door when I arrived home. I took a seat on the ground. Finally, I started crying. The tears felt different this time, though, since I was aware. Daniel had left. I also needed to move on. I removed my wedding band the following morning. I prepared my own breakfast. I had some coffee. I saw the sun rising while I sat at the window. The pain persisted. It would take a long time to heal. However, I refused to allow this suffering ruin me. I would be content again one day. One day, I wouldn't think of him first when I woke up. I would fall in love once more. However, today, I would live today. I appreciate you listening to this tale. Although there are many challenging times in life, every ending also marks a fresh start. No matter how severe the pain is, it will eventually go away and be replaced by fresh joy. For more heartwarming tales, please like, share, and subscribe if you like this one. Your assistance is much appreciated. See you in the following tale.